Yo, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining the aftercast from obviously DA's stream. You have me to deal with, which is great. But also, we have Andy here from Hold My DualShock and Quinn Edwards, who is obviously from the chat a bunch of times. Look, what I usually do for these streams, I'm trying to aim for doing about an hour. Maybe if if the conversation is interesting enough, we'll aim for 2 hours because I only get 20 hours a month because I'm going off the free thing, which is great and all. But you know what? I do what I can. So if people are interested, there is a way to donate to it. I will post it later, or other people will post it into the chat. That's fine. But like I said, we have Andy here from Hold My DualShock and Quentin Edwards. And these people were in the chat while we were talking with DA about, like, obviously the Superman thing. They've had their opinions on it, but I'm curious what their opinions are outside of those chats. Like, Andy, how do you feel about it overall?
Um,
Also, hold on one second. If anybody else feels like they have an opinion about something that is different from the opinion that we're talking about and you want to say something, by all means, send me a message at Gallows the Media, like the at sign Gallows the Media. I will bring you on. I have no problem doing that. It's all good. Like, this is a very late night, whatever thing. If you're interested, you got a good mic, or specifically, if you have a decent mic to talk, I wouldn't mind hearing from you. Anyways, Andy, go ahead.
it's like one of those things that we talked about recently. It's a mixed feeling. So, like, I'm gonna be critical on it because we're critical on everything. That said, like, I think you'll forget. Like I've said multiple times, I'm probably gonna like it because I've liked every single Superman thing ever. But I think it's suffering from they promised that it was going to be the quintessential Superman. It was going to be this unifying thing that everybody was unanimously going to love. And so, just in my head, everybody I think was creating what they thought perfect was going to look like. And it's not that it's not doesn't have the potential to be good, but what we're seeing is like a very distinctly James Gunn take on it, which I think they would have been better if they just said from the beginning that it's going to be James Gunn's interpretation of Superman. And it feels very Silver Age. It feels borderline hokey, which again isn't a bad thing. Like Superman and
What?
Lois, I liked, and that was always on the more not silly, but sincere to the point of maybe being almost comical, if that makes sense.
Well, it definitely seems like it's going in the comical effect of like what James Gunn normally does. In theory, I mean, you can just look at his last, I don't know, 10 years of work. That's kind of what he does. But would you say that the direction that it's going has it affected your thought about it because of, I don't know, not just the director, but the way that you've seen the trailers go? Like, so the trailers
Oh
obviously are
yeah.
leaning more towards comical. Do you feel like it'll be do you feel it'll be like too comedic for something as like Superman, which people are looking for hopeful and like, let's go yay yay Superman type of bullshit, whatever, however you want to put it. But is it because of that you think it'll be good and or bad, or do you have an opinion on that?
I think it's going to be this blend where, like, just talking about the trailer we just saw. So, like, and
Yeah, yeah.
I actually gotten like a little mini spat with Leon about this because, when we watched it, Katie and I were like, look, like most of the second half of that trailer stuff we've seen before. Now he was trying to be like, it changes stuff. I don't think there's maybe one 3-second scene in that second half of the teaser that we haven't already seen before,
Yeah, he throws like 3 seconds into each scene,
Yeah,
basically.
but other
That's
than
all he
the
does.
massive crypto intro, it's to say it's a montage. We just get a montage of moments, which is fine. That I never really had a problem with. I think we all said we were just whelmed. it feels like a YouTube edit, so it's gonna feel amped, but it didn't say a lot. From the stuff like, cool, crypto's good, but I don't know if like I've just become a little not cynical, but
a little jaded.
I'm tired of like when you see stuff that is going to prevent a cool conversation about this. So the very fact that there's a dog in there, you're going to have a bunch of people that are like dog lovers, not Superman fans. And you won't be able to talk to them about it because it'll be like, well, you're just not a dog lover,
Well, that's actually kind of why I wanted to talk to you, and I'm glad that you even jumped on my conversation with this, is because like I'm not going to sit there and single anybody or anybody out about the people that are on your streams, which I am one of those people that are on your streams a lot. But it's like I feel like so many people are hating on it, but it's like nobody goes out of the way to defend the possibilities of what's there, which I find interesting. Don't get me wrong, I'm actually not in favor of a lot of what is going on at all. But I'm surprised nobody can ever throw like a counter argument with how much like kind of hate they're throwing at one side. Do you know what I mean by that? Like they're like just hating to hate is what I feel, which is
I think that's
crazy to
also
me.
partially because Fan Rant Thursday is like to rant, not Fan Rant rap.
No.
Thursday.
No. Of course, no. That's
not to critique what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but yeah.
Let's throw that out the window. That's actually not the point at all. It's more like it just so happens to be that some of those people like they're hating on something, but it's crazy because it's like so many people like they can agree on certain things and then disagree on others, but while all being in the same context of what you're watching, which is a weird concept to talk about because it sounds like, well, now we're just in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, to a degree,
but we're actually not, like, which is weird.
So I think a big part of that is, and it'd be fun. We should like straw man and steel man this, because that's the thing. Like, whenever we talk about this, like people forget. Like, I love debating stuff. I have no problem playing devil's advocate or arguing a point I don't necessarily hold dear to my heart, but like my point has always been, people don't realize James Gunn is just as divisive of a director as Zack Snyder is, in a different way, but has a very loyal fan base. But a lot of other people look at him and
it's weird is as much as I've finally been on your guys' streams long enough, and like I'm sure I came on as at first as like a James Gunn supporter,
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I ride in the middle ground where I'm like, actually, I'm kind of on board with about everything almost everybody else says, because I get it. I feel like I'm a reasonable person or whatever.
Yeah.
But that being said, I have no idea what this newcomer is about to say. And this is somebody from the chat. It's Rockefeller Plaza. I have no idea what he's going to say. But at the same time, if you say anything egregious, I will remove you. But he seems like a good person, and he went out of his way to message me. Rockefeller, you ready to come on? Because we're adding you to the stage, brother. Here you go.
I'm here. How's my mic sound?
Sounds good.
It actually sounds better than mine. So there you go.
$30. $30.
What kind of stuff you got to say? Absolutely, brother. What do you got to say about anything, man? Like, so we're obviously talking about the Superman possibly controversy, how it's going to be, where it's going to go towards. I mean, based on what we know and what we've seen, which is it's kind of a lot of mismatch of like a bunch of either opinions here, opinions there, and also the trailers. Like, I think we can all agree the trailers are trash. Like all the trailers and all the marketing is bad. That I think that can be a solid thing that everybody can agree on. The marketing is bad, and okay, go from there. But
so the marketing, I saw the Minecraft movie and I didn't get to see the Superman trailer in front of it. I don't know if it was because it was a premiere. It was the
I'm
first
so glad.
one.
I was joking about it before I went to like the DA's last stream, and or when I went on with Hold My DualShock here with Andy, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go just to watch the 5-minute preview. And I'm glad I didn't buy that ticket because I was joking that I was going to go for 5 minutes. I was just going to stand off to the side and watch it and then fuck off because I didn't want to watch the movie. I'm glad I didn't because then they just released the whole thing anyways. So what the hell?
Which is kind of a bummer because I had the tickets bought before they released that in hopes to show my family members this upcoming preview, which we never got to see.
Yeah.
So all they heard was from their uncle how this is going to be a good movie. They never got to see it.
Which is crazy. They actually showed it in our theater when we went and saw Minecraft, but our theater didn't say they were going to be showing it.
So depending on where you were,
yours didn't say it, but Andy, you and Katie, like it sounded like you guys went, right? You actually saw the Minecraft movie fully.
Yeah, we watched the whole thing. Yeah.
Did they have the Superman trailer in front of it?
Yeah, right before.
So you actually saw it, like that whole thing was there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because somebody here in the chat was like, Syfax, let him talk or whatever, and I'm like, hey, I don't mind. Hey, man, if anybody wants to talk or like cut me off, and if you got something to correct me on, by all means, do it.
Can I do my take on it real quick?
Dude, go for it. Rockefeller, hey man, the fucking board is yours. Let me see if I can highlight you here. I have no idea how this works.
If you can, it don't matter. One thing that everybody said, and Derek hit on the nail, the dog. I don't care who you are. When the dog came jumping on you and hurting you when you were already hurt, it was just so happy to see you. Everybody can relate to that. Whether it's a cat, dog, whatever your take on animal
Anyone with an animal ever, yes. That actually is super relatable.
When he was injured and getting carried in by the robots, and he was just like, thank you. It's like so happy human nature to see somebody. We don't care. We're robots. He's just like, the look he gave in his face really sold me. He was like he's been taught this lesson for how many times, but he's never been injured to the point to where he's needed morality on his side. So when he was like, oh God, that's right. I forgot. These idiots are going to tell me that they're robots and they don't need to, that really got me into, it's a James Gunn movie, but I like that. I saw a lot of people criticizing. I really like that part.
So Rockefeller, like you're like you're a big fan. I would have, based on what you're saying, it sounds like you're saying you're like a big fan of what you got released right now, right? Like
so far, I'm liking it. I can see where the criticism's coming from. Like, Hold My DualShock. I'm a big fan, by the way. Peace.
Hold My DualShock's awesome. Hey,
the dual advocacy. I can see how this is a team up movie. Don't get it wrong, but it's also the first in the jump off of James Gunn's DC universe to where we have to establish certain characters. More important, the old ones that aren't going to be around a long time.
To JWD Jambi, like, because he said I'm a cat lady. I have a cat, and it's because my living situation is way different. Sorry, keep going. I
love the cat. We all love the cat. See, whether you got a dog or a cat, you can
Calypso is probably the best part of like my whole situation.
Best co-host in the world.
Yeah, Calypso, best cat ever. There you go.
Yeah, but I mean, it's. I can see it being both. It's going to be a good Superman movie, but if you're going into a thing and it's going to be a solo, just Superman saving kids, heroes versus like, it's not. Superman never was. Superman's an ensemble piece. You got Jimmy Olsen, his love interest, Lois Lane. You got the bad guy. Bad guy's even got a bad guy, little like person. But there's gonna be an ensemble cast, and you have to be ready for that, because if you aren't, you're gonna be disappointed, But yeah, and it's also a jump off movie for the DC universe. I like it so far. What we've seen, just a little bit.
Well, what I'm curious about is like, look. So we all knew, like, okay, obviously you need a Superman hero or a superhero movie or a Superman movie to be a superhero movie, right? Like, so that is established. That's kind of in the title, and also on top of here we're starting our new universe and everything like that. But Superman, if people really sit there and think about it, do like most people actually know Superman villains other than like Lex Luthor? Like go outside of that, like a normal person. Like if you're just like you go up to a random person who's like, okay, I got a Superman shirt on, or like who's his biggest villain? It's like Lex Luthor, right?
like
That's
Brainiac and those type of people.
Brainiac, Lex Luthor. Maybe you got two of them on the top of your head. At
Bizarro.
best, at best. No. Come on, at best, you're a regular person, not
Doomsday.
us, not us.
Doomsday, yeah.
At best,
Lobo.
at best, Doomsday. Come on.
Lobo is
Jesus Christ.
That's
You
like
got-
a Man of Tomorrow, though.
you
Like
gotta
the newer
understand
one,
what I'm
isn't it?
saying
I-
is
no, I get what
at
you're saying.
best.
Yeah.
At
Like
best.
people who haven't read the comics or watched like the
Regular
animated
people.
series probably
Regular
just think Lex
people.
Luthor. It's the same
No,
with
We're
Batman.
gonna say
Like,
Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor's Joker. Or I'm sorry, Lex Luthor. That's a bad statement. Batman is Joker. You know, like, and that's not even like his crazy. Like he's the most common villain. Whatever. So to have all these other ones in there, like it sounds crazy to other people, but technically he has an array of crazy characters, and the way that they're bringing him in, don't get me wrong, I feel like I'm trying to justify what they're doing with it, and I kind of am, and at the same time, I don't agree with it. I don't like the way that they're doing it, but I'm trying to agree with it. Because he's coming in from a point of like he's already established. He's already an established character. He's already an established superhero. People know he is. He actually has other superhero friends. Like he's actually coming in from a place where people have considered a superhero is already there. You know what I mean? Like they already know who Superman is, whatever. And so that's the world that they're almost just like throwing us right into type of deal.
mhm.
And so I don't mind that aspect of it at all. I'm not sure how well they're going to be pulling it off, but to sit there and like just trash on it because it sounds like people are just like, I want the origin story when so many people were complaining about origin stories for so long. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. But hey, that's
So we
what
can make
people
fun of
are-
Pa Kent again.
What's up?
So we can just make fun of Pa Kent again. Another
Oh,
origin film, just
absolutely.
make fun of
Do
him.
you
No, we
still-
don't need to do that again.
Okay, look, the new Pa Kent is not great, but he definitely looks like he's definitely not outrunning the tornado that he might have been sucked up in.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, he's probably tornado proof. Like, good luck, right? I don't think they have that type of velocity to lift him.
He doesn't need to strap to the well pipe.
Yeah,
water
he's
pipes
good.
go-
He's the well
Dang.
pipe. He's the dude that other people hold
why
on
do
to.
I
and
feel
not
like
go
I'm
for.
calling this guy out? JWD Jembe
Jembe.
clearly does not like the trailer. Actually, I'm fine with the trailer. Like that's the crazy part. It's like I feel like I talk like I'm like always in the negative about things, and I'm probably more one of the positive people.
I think it's your thought.
I just
is misconstrued as apprehension when it's just thoughtfulness, because we live in a time where
Thank
anything
you.
other
Thank
than
you.
if you're
Andy
not
gets
drooling
me.
over
That's why I
it,
brought him on.
you're-
I
yeah.
swear.
If you're not drooling over it, people are like, "How come this dude's not grinning? Why is he not drooling over it?" It's like,
No, I
just
don't.
thinking
I
about
don't
it,
love
you
it at all. I don't love it at all. But at the same time, I'm like, I get where you're going, and that's fine. I hope to
So-
see a better thing from it. Like
give
I
you-
have an optimism that other people don't fucking have anymore. And when that doesn't come to fruition, by all means, pelt me with your stones. Hopefully, they're in like $5 stones. It's fine.
So I think the problem is first and foremost the messaging around the film. Like, as somebody who's liked all Superman, like from Reeves all the way to Catwoman, I've liked I don't care. I like them all. For some reason, Superman became this thing, and this is why I love the community we have. Like, I've seen you, Rockefeller, in the chat, like always having like nuanced, like open-minded takes, because that's what you got to be able to have. You got to be able to talk about these things and not be emotionally compromised. But at the end of the day, when they first came out with this, and I don't even blame James Gunn. I've said how many times we talked about this, IFAX. It's a Warner Brothers thing.
Dude, like
I
since,
don't
like
trust
that I can
Warner
remember since Penguin. Like Penguin was like the discussion that started a lot of this because
Yeah.
obviously that was the start of like what
Yeah.
WB would become.
Yeah.
And then we were all apprehensive about Penguin, and
Yeah.
Penguin came out like swinging, and
Yep.
they didn't miss.
They
That's
didn't
the
even-
problem. They didn't fucking miss.
And it
That's
seems
the
like they
problem.
wanted to miss, or they don't know, right?
Yeah, they were expecting a couple whiffs in that,
Yeah.
and they were just like, "Oh, that
It was a great
uppercut landed.
series.
Here we go."
And
Let's
I
go.
think Penguin showed how open-minded we are. And yet, when you look at the trail of things, what they've done is they've let a bunch of surrogates talk about this film. And I hate that you can't talk about this without it becoming a Snyder versus bullshit. It's like, it's not a Snyder thing.
Dude,
It's just
that-
like, go ahead, sir. What are you gonna say?
that I was gonna say that's my most tired conversation. Like, I'm not gonna pull out any names, but there are certain people in a certain I don't know.
That's every DC
The-
film, though.
There's
When
certain
Batman comes
people
out,
around the
yeah.
area that you guys talk about that who bring that all up, and it's like Snyder this, Snyder that, and I'm like, I don't care about that. I literally don't. Like, and
It's
it's
both
like,
directions. It's
it's
either
bad.
you love Snyder or you hate Snyder. And I never wanted to see a reboot that was a response to Snyder. And you look at that
Exactly.
entire first year, every single article was a response to Snyder. It was, we're finally going to get a hopeful Superman. We're finally going to get, and it was a bunch of surrogates saying things that Warner Brothers was letting them say because Warner Brothers wasn't being clear. Now, from day one, like, and I've said this all the time, dude, I've watched every single James Gunn's film. I've liked James Gunn's films. I feel like I've outgrown some of his more juvenile films, but I like Guardians and whatnot. But I also don't think he's a Christopher Nolan. Like, he's not on that level of director. I
No,
think
not
he-
at all.
and yet there's this movement to try and sell him as it, and I think it's a very insincere argument, and it makes a lot of people being like, why are you pushing this guy so hard? Like, I know he's your boy now, but why are you pushing him so hard? And then the incongruities. So from day one, a lot of us were gaslit and told we were crazy when we said, I remember talking with you saying it's going to be an ensemble film, because that's what he does. It's going to be an ensemble film. And a million people online were like, y'all are conspiracy theorists, y'all are Snyder cultists. And I'm like, who's talking about Snyder? I'm just saying James Gunn does ensembles. He said he likes ensembles. This is more than likely going to be an ensemble film, given that the cast. And then for 6 months, they said it wasn't. And then it came out, it is an ensemble film. And they changed from, well, of course it's an ensemble film, and that's a good thing. And that's kind of been the way it's all unfolded. They've never said, hey, James Gunn's wacky and wild. He's going to bring you a wacky and wild Superman. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be an ensemble film. You're going to get introduced to a ton of new characters you've never heard of in the normie crowd. It's going to be fun. No, they said it's definitive, hopeful, all these things, these buzzwords that were countering what people perceive from the last thing. And very early on, you're like, a lot of those comparisons cannot exist at the same time.
That's one thing, at least from the trailers, that I can say, at least from the trailers, at least from what's going on, I feel like I can maybe push back against it doesn't seem like it's gonna be wacky and fun or whatever. Like, there's gonna be like weird moments. I don't think it's gonna be wacky and fun though. Like, I don't think that as far as what I've seen, I don't think that's what I've seen from the trailers. I mean, and I can even tell from like at least the last little thing that they shown, it doesn't seem like it's going to be. Well, I'm going to go with the words wacky and fun again. It doesn't look like it looks like there's going to be dramatic moments, but they're going to be, the best way to put it is like cheap moments, like how how like they showed the number 12 robot.
So that's what I would
And,
refer to as wacky and wild. Like silly.
So that's
they're
what
there to break.
that's fair.
into,
That's fair.
you know.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Like that'd be wacky.
Tension
100%.
breakers.
Yeah, the moments
That's-
that you
that-
retreat from the sincere.
I mean, if
to
you
make
want
it
to
what
say
I would
that's
consider-
wacky, that's
Yeah.
fine.
and
But
maybe
it's like,
wacky's not the right
I don't
word, but
think
you know.
that's not the right. Yeah, no, I know what you're going for. It's like it's at a place or whatever. Like, it doesn't fit with what's going on. like, okay, there's a serious tone, and I think I can agree with that just based off of the trailers and whatnot. Is that, like, there's going to be a lot of stuff that does not align with what the serious tone that is wanting to be portrayed, like kind of what he's done with almost all of his movies. Like, there's a serious undertone, but then
Can we
all of a sudden,
agree
all
that
this
based
wacky
on that-
bullshit's going on.
Yeah. Can we agree based on what you've seen, especially with the newest trailer, or the teaser, it's going to be Guardians. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's going to be Guardians. Maybe not.
I think I can agree with that. And you know what? I'll also say this: I'll happily be surprised when it's not, or if it's not.
Like, and that's all. That was my point from the beginning. Like, I like James Gunn. I don't want a Guardians Superman. It doesn't mean I won't watch it. It's just, if you had said, hey, you can make your perfect film, and that's kind of what they were telling everybody, like, shut up, it's going to be perfect. I'm like, well, my perfect James Gunn Superman film isn't him just making Guardians 4.
Rockefeller had a point there. Rockefeller wanted to jump
So,
in.
Andy,
Go
you said
for
a
it,
lot
brother.
of good things I want to jump on. You were talking about us as the customer and the fans. We have to be optimistic. We can't just be negative all the time. Watch me be optimistic that a lot of people be like, I don't agree with that, but hear me out.
That's kind of what I try to do.
Star
Not
Wars
gonna
is still
lie.
fixable.
I'm gonna
If
jump
somebody were to come
on
in
my
like
own stream here.
if somebody like Tony Gilroy that's doing Andor season 1, Andor season 2, and that did Rogue One, we can say all that Disney garbage that nobody likes is, let's say, EU, and everything after Rogue One hype. Tony Gilroy would come in, he can fix this. You can be optimistic as a fan to where this is fixable, and we can just call everything Disney EU non-canon. This is fixable, Same with, but now that, so you got to be hopeful as a fan. But on the other side, again, like we were talking about, don't be scared to be hypocritical. He's going to write a Batman, the Brave and the Bold movie, right? James Gunn. How's that going to work? That's going to be a
theory. I love that. That's what he is starting.
That's what I've been saying from day one. It's not about this film. It's about the expanded universe. And like,
we need more than James Gunn to write 13 films coming out. We need Kevin Feige. Well, is the main producer, but he has other producers producing these films, not just.
It sucks. It sucks that he's talking about like, oh, I have a bunch of other things involved with what I'm starting something with, when everybody and their mother goddamn knows that the only reason any of these could even, like, I don't know, get a fucking foot in the door is because the first fucking movie needs to actually get some footing, like. Which is strong what we've all been saying. You need Superman to kick all this off properly. If Superman fails, all these fun little ideas, all this shit that's in the ether.
Oh yeah,
that's all gone.
Dinosaur.
There might be one more. There might be one more just clinging on to life, where it's like, oh, that's the cheapest one we got, and blah 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 blah. And we're already halfway filmed it, and then you're like, oh shit. But come on, like we all know, like. Freaking WB is like in massive amounts of debt.
And you
like it's crazy
because then you're being negative, and it's like this is the La La Land people want to be in. And again, none of the serious critics say that. Like people will often talk about Chris Gore. Chris Gore's constantly talking about how desperate Warner Brothers is. He just said that even though he says some people say
I'm
that
friends with Chris Gore in person. I hear
I love you, bro,
all the fucking time. Like I hear it enough.
And so it's like,
we love you.
Well, let's not pretend like you can have this film be a not mid, but middling in terms of success. It has to be huge because you're not just competing with like rebooting the DC universe. You're also dealing with, are consumers invested or are they capable of investing in another franchise, let alone another superhero franchise? And every single studio has been putting out slop for the past 4 years. So I've been saying Kraven the Hunter irreparably damaged the ability to have
they know they're doing that. They know they're doing
exactly. That. So you've told audiences, wait till it comes to streaming. And then you put out something. You have to make something that is iconic.
Don't get me started on Sony Pictures. Don't get me started.
Dude, no, Sony alone has
bring it on, man. What do you got about Sony, man?
I'm a PlayStation boy, and I like where they're trying to go, but their execution is horrible.
We just had 7 years that everybody thought was leading to a Sinister Six film that we just found out was for nothing, zero ROI.
Dude,
For
you had like two movies that basically brought up like Spider-Man and like or like at least
only
one
reason Spider-Man's
hinted,
exists is
and then the
Marvel.
second movie almost like guaranteed a Spider-Man fucking thing, and then it was like, and that's gone. And you're like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah,
You have the rights to the thing. You have like, and it's the biggest marketing thing that has been, let's say, the most consecutive money maker for Marvel since Endgame, basically, which is Spider-Man. Other than, I guess, now Deadpool, which is they acquired freaking Fox for that. Like, come on, man.
Do you remember when iPhone used to come out with the iPhone, then the iPhone C? Like they'd have several iterations.
Of course.
Why do you think they don't do it anymore?
Shout out to the Android users.
Because you're basically battling yourself.
Exactly. And so people who want to say, like, when you just
Green
made a
mobiles.
great point about the normies, right? And then and I 100% agree with that. Do the normies know the difference? But then you have people say, oh, well, that was Sony or that's Marvel. This is DC. You think the fucking normies know the difference? They just see a cape. They just see a flying dude. It's just a comic book thing. Like, look what's happening with Daredevil. That was successful and people aren't showing up for it, you know?
Look, I'm just gonna point out I'm not following the chat as quick as they're posting, and
I'm sorry, Chad. I ain't paying attention. What up?
No. I'm just saying, if anybody in the chat has a question that any of us on the panel wants to address, any of us, by the way, I'm trying to be as open as possible and be open with not just me, but obviously the people in my chat. If somebody sees something interesting in there, go ahead and bring it up. Go ahead, let's go for it. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to, like I said, I have literally 0 topics, but at the same time, we've literally had 0 topics and we've been going over almost 40 minutes. So that's how this shit works, because we're just going off of what I don't know, the natural zeitgeist of what I don't know, people are talking about. Let's go off of it. If
Current
people
events.
have questions, yes, current events. There you go. That's a better way to put it. A more friendly
And I do
term.
like, if I could just go back to Rockefeller's point, it's
Absolutely.
Like being
There you
critical
go.
is not rooting for it to fail, bro. Being a fan is, if you want to call it nitpicking, fine. But dude, I call it going through things in minute detail, because to us the details matter. When you talked about Star Wars, dude, growing up, how long did you spend on random Star Wars forums debating niche things about, the Sith? And like, it doesn't, like, I remember, do you remember when they changed kyber crystals? And it went from being like there were different colored kyber crystals to now it's like a fucking mood ring.
Yeah,
I didn't nitpicking. That's us caring about the lore and it mattering.
No, I don't remember when they did it, but I remember looking up one day and saying, "What the hell is that?" Now
Yeah,
they have fucking mood rings. Exactly like you
What the
said.
fuck
I don't remember when they did
bleeding-
it.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Bleeding a kyber crystal, dog? Like, no, you have synthetic kyber crystals and you have the natural ones. Sith used or inorganic ones because they're out of sync with nature. It's not that confusing.
Continuity. That's how the MCU was so strong till Phase 3 was continuity.
Yeah.
These writers were able to not only and Kevin Feige was a very big at doing this in Marvel, was keeping the movies on the film nonstop. When we're writing, play the movie in the background, because that makes it, oh yeah, I forgot about this part right here.
Yeah.
I can go back here and reference this in the next movies that people be like, well, that's a crazy callback. How'd they remember that? Because it's playing right here. The whole time you're working, engulf yourself with this atmosphere. And if you're just like, I write about the same thing every day, just give me what's his name? Yeah, I'm gonna start the same thing I'm writing about with this name and this character. It's not gonna work. You got to actually care about what I was going at. If it's a good product, I'll spend over 2,500 plus hours playing it, like Elden Ring. Y'all know me. Shout out to the subs that watch me play. I played. If it's a good product, you got me.
Elden Rings is the shit, and
You got me.
Go out of your way to put 2,500 hours into it immediately, because you won't even scratch the surface. So you're welcome. Like,
build a good foundation, strong to build your thing on, and great dialogue. You'll sell us. Minecraft had potential, but whoever wrote that was not a good dialogue.
Well, and I love that point.
Hold hold
by
on,
the way.
hold on. I'm gonna point out this one. Look, Quentin Edwards says, "I'm just here for the chat. I can't get a
I
word
was
in."
wondering.
Quentin,
sorry.
dude,
His mic's
you're
off.
in the chat.
Your
All you
mic's
have to
turned
do
off.
is unmute yourself. You are here. You are
Bro,
here, brother.
yeah, but I ain't gonna like go over when Andy's talking or Syfax is
Oh,
talking.
no,
I'm just
butt in,
Why
bro.
not? Why not? Well, do you got a point to make? Go for it, dude. Insert yourself. Like, I mean, maybe don't say it like that, but
well, I mean, I know we talked about James Gunn. He had Guardians, and like he said in that movie, I'm not 100% a dick, so I'm just not gonna get over when Andy's talking. You know what I mean?
no. I don't think that was part of his movie. I think that was part of some fucking random leftist bullshit. But don't go with that one, man.
But what
Dude,
I was,
if I invite you onto my shit, you can say whatever the fuck you want at any time you want.
but
And
all I
you
had to
know,
say
if
about
you
the Superman thing was Superman should be super. And so far, pretty much in all the previews, we've seen him save one person, and other than that, that's it. He's getting his ass kicked. He's getting saved by his dog.
he
Like
actually
that's
saved two
fine.
people. And
Um,
technically, actually,
is
he
it
saved
two?
one. He saved one person. He saved the girl when he does that, and then
Yep.
he saves. And technically, it seems like he saves like a small village or some shit. When the boy like grasps the flag,
You see him ask for Superman.
it's implied that maybe Superman will come and save their village.
Maybe.
I will
So
say
I'm
that. That's it. That's it, though. But that's a trailer, dude. You only get a minute and a half, dude. Do you want the whole movie like given
It's
to you?
supposed to be showing you what the movie's going to be, right? It's supposed to
Well,
entice
I
you to want
hope
to
it's
watch this.
implied to be like, oh, this
That
is
I
what it's going to be
100%
the
agree
whole
with Quentin.
time.
Not to go in, but I 100% agree, Quentin. It's all based on inference that they hope the audience will insert what they want, and everybody's got a different meaning. But sorry, bro, go ahead.
But so
No, I'm literally in agreement with that. But you know, the only two things that you see are those two things that are in like hope and you know,
it just seems like James Gunn
you
is.
see the one inference of like saving a girl and then possibly saving a village. Those are the two things of hope that are instilled in that trailer. Am I
But
wrong with that?
but
What are you
it
talking
seems
about?
like it's more important to him to self-insert his dog than it is to make Superman super.
Oh no, I can agree with you with that. There's things with that I'm like that seems ridiculous.
So I don't have high expectations for the movie based off what I'm seeing from these previews.
Well, I mean, when the movies are only an hour and a half and the movie might be 2.5 hours, it's like if you have these 20-second clips that might be spread out between 2 hours, I'm not gonna lie, I give it a little bit of hope. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of actually leaning on the side of like not great. I'm gonna lie, I'm lining it out. If you were to talk to me in December, I'd have been like, dude, Superman's gonna be amazing. This is fine. This is great.
But at the same time,
Seeing what's been coming out since then, I'm actually becoming
look at
less
the
of a
Fantastic
fan.
Four preview, right?
Less of a fan.
The Fantastic Four preview we saw
It's terrible. Terrible.
but at least we saw the Human Torch flaming on. Obviously, we see the Thing and what he is. We saw
Where's Mr.
Woman
Fantastic using
powers.
his abilities? Where's Silver Surfer? The Silver Surfer.
I think they're trying
You
to,
know what I
to
mean?
hide Silver Surfer.
I agree.
Now, what they're doing is, for one, they need to release a trailer early because they didn't have all the effects done. That's the obvious thing.
Okay, hold up.
Stretchy effects are terrible to do. The last thing that's ever done it even semi decently was Netflix's One Piece, and that was like acceptable at best. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, Silver Surfer that's been the biggest point of contention for a long time.
Right.
Whether you like that or not, kind of doesn't matter. But what all that comes down to, and this isn't actually anything against the film. The film can actually be really good. But what it comes down to is they don't have the effects done yet. And what is Marvel super famous for doing? They're famous for doing effects very late, and they all come out
In the theater
terrible
still.
because in the theater, like they'll be like 1 week from the release, and they're like, we're still fixing it.
Oh, Brew,
They
fuck
do
Marvel
that
be in
all the
theater.
fucking time.
Marvel be in the theater.
It'll
Endgame
be
was
in the theater,
Yeah,
and they'll fix
by
it like a
Endgame.
week after.
They'll be like,
It's-
"Hey, imagine this looked good." You know?
And if tell me I'm lying, and then
But-
go back
but
and
I
look
wanna
at
go back
tell
to
me
the
go look
Fantastic-
and look back on that shit, and
But
then
going back to the
tell me to
Fantastic
fuck
Four
off.
thing,
'cause
Cyfax,
you'll be lying. Go for it.
like with Quentin saying, "Bro, I can understand them dropping a trailer early and not having the VFX, and you have every right to be critical of them not showing him stretch his arm, dude. Nobody's being critical of that's clearly what you saw with the first Superman trailer. They didn't even have him flying, but people made up their mind. It's hopeful. It's like a self-insert on what you're seeing, and that's all I'm
Okay.
saying. It makes it not very compelling to talk about it when people have already made up their minds.
That's fine, but Fantastic Four is notorious for for one being not great movies, but on top of that, the worst type of effect that you need to do is the stretchy arm effect, and the last one that we've seen do it even semi decently is fucking One Piece, right? So like, and they're not even willing to do that yet in their because they showed everybody else's power. Everybody else's power is in there except for his stretchy arms because they haven't figured it out. And it's gonna look that shit's gonna look janky as shit. 100% janky as shit.
That's a hard animation to make look realistic.
No. That's fair. That's a hard
Now,
animation.
You either
which
got to
sucks.
lean into it
That
being
sucks
comic
on there.
booky as hell, like they do in like the Marvel Lego games where he turned into a damn teapot, or you got to make it like, in my opinion, the Josh Trank movie was a great where it was like, oh my god, his arms are falling off and he can't get it back, he can't grab anything. It's like
it
like
really-
a horror show. That was like a good
sucks.
aspect.
It sucks for the animation studio.
It sucks for them. They're in a hard place to get this right.
I actually have like much sympathy for them in general. Don't get me
Mhm.
wrong, but when
That
you
one's
have
hard.
like, okay,
Raymon's
you're
easy.
the lead, you're the leader of this team. You're the main kind of character. You're the fucking leader, man. Like
his powers are
What are you
very
talking
useful in the comics. Like the best one I saw, like I forget what I think it was a
it's
game.
stupid.
He's like
It's a
walking toward this
stupid thing
place shooting. He puts his
it's
hand
a-
up, makes it big,
It's a
catches
stupid
bullets,
thing to bank on.
and then like when he gets shot, he becomes a hole in the center. And that so you got to know Mr. Fantastic's powers to be able to make him look cool, and then the animation has to be spot on for it to be believable. You know what I mean? That's good. It's a hard place for them to. That's why I think they haven't shown it because those they need to be polished for us to be able to be like, okay.
I have a feeling they didn't show it because they weren't done with it.
They're nowhere near done with it.
They didn't even come close. And then if you think about the way that fucking Marvel has been doing animation in general, even when they're done with it, do you think they're even gonna be close? I mean, if they do, fucking congratulations! Like that'll be amazing. I have no faith in it at all.
I think
it's
Invisible
I have
looks like garbage.
zero faith in that shit.
I think Human Torch looks decent, but that's fire, and I don't think we've really seen the thing yet.
Dude,
Besides,
we've had it like a million times for the last like 20 years.
yeah,
Like I mean, at this point, animation can do it just as good. Who
I
gives
should be
a
able to
shit?
go like this right here and just have fire coming from my hand. Be like, see that guys? Look,
Like,
my
hey,
hand
this
is
guy explodes into fire, and you're just like, you decide, guy explodes into fire.
Hey,
Enter.
Cyphex,
Here you
can I
go.
say a hot take real quick?
Do whatever you want, man. Look, my shit is open. Go for it. Do whatever you want.
So
Obviously, there are some words you cannot say, and if you do say it, I will eliminate that. But go for it.
I'm always against race swaps and gender swaps, but
As
this
most of us
Fantastic
are, yes.
Four might actually be onto something where I think it's a multiverse, so it's not like the canon universe where possibly Doctor Doom is Tony Stark. So having Silver Surfer be a woman in this particular world is not crazy.
Yeah, I don't think that works.
So look, I saw somebody say that she looks like the comic. Bro, if she looks like the comic, It's a
She's in
genius
like
movie.
3 comics. She is
No,
in like
but
3 comics.
bro, but fuck that. If
Crazy.
she looks like the comics, a voluptuous lady who's been spray painted, that is genius. Now, if it looks like the actress, that's stupid, but I don't think it. I think she's going to be full CGI like they did with Lawrence Fishburne, and it's going to be a very attractive lady. That could be genius.
But you could still have
It'd be fun.
Norrin
And you
Radd,
know,
Silver
she was
Surfer
great
in the
in
canon
that TV show she was in. What was that? What was that fucking TV show she was in? It was like that like backwoods bullshit fucking TV show.
Ozarks.
Where they were, Ozarks. Okay, yeah. So she was in there, and it's like she's good in there, but nothing about that is like, oh, you look like you would be able to, like, I don't know, come into a whole new, I don't know, world and or
Bro, she doesn't
universe
look- yeah,
and
she
your
doesn't look like a
mindset
superhero.
and be like, I'm the herald of something that destroys your fucking universe. Nothing about that says anything about that. She's a good actress. Like, it's like, oh yeah, you can clean a bunch of crack money, but that's about as good as that. That's your peak right now. What are you talking about? Fuck this shit.
But what if
I'm
in the
so
actual
pissed.
Earth that we use in the MCU, they have a Silver Surfer that is Norrin Radd, but in this multiverse with the Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer is a woman. You see what I'm saying?
No, the obvious thing that's going to happen is actually the civil or like the Fantastic Four, they're going to lose, and while they're losing, whatever machine they built to like do a different world thing, they're going to use to join the 616, our MCU universe. And then like the fucking what's it called? What? Oh my god! Why am I forgetting his stupid ass name? Not Daredevil. Whatever. Ryan Reynolds' fucking dumbass character. Deadpool. Jesus Christ! What? That's how much I'm blanking out right now. Deadpool, and those characters, they're all going to come into the same fucking universe, and then they're going to have a doomsday event because all these characters are in a place that they're not supposed to be, and then blah blah blah. We're going to blow it all up, and because of that, it's going to cause the Secret War event, and it's going to be a fucking shit show. Like none of it's going to make sense. It's going to be stupid as shit.
Okay, so hear me out.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I watched Infinity War this weekend for this purpose because after the cast came out, I was like, you know what? It's going to be the same director, same. Let's go over Rock. And so I went and watched Infinity Wars. I can see it starting just like Infinity War did with Loki introducing the bad guy. Imagine Loki, God tier Loki, doing his timeline thing and having, I don't know, somehow Victor Von Doom showing up to stop the timeline, breaking it, and then Thor saying, the same. You can see it basically playing out the same way Infinity War did with different characters, inserting him just enough. There'll be main characters, side characters. I think it could work. The problem is they're going to try to overbunch it with Secret Wars. You have to come follow it up with Secret Wars and have a whole different ensemble of characters, not adding like 3 or 4 to be like, I'm on your right. So that's going to feel like jumbled nonsense at the end when they do shove a Ryan Reynolds Deadpool in there for 2 seconds. They'd be like, hey, remember me? All right, we got enough. And it can work, but it's going to have to. They had James Gunn's writing then, remember? They had Louis D'Esposito and James Gunn writing, 2 other people.
James Gunn writing. It was James Gunn overview. Like he overviewed the thing. Like I don't know if he
more than one cook
all
in the kitchen.
the other scripts, but his idea was the overlining thing. It's like whatever you guys write needs to lead to X. It's like I'm writing Y, you need to lead to X or whatever. Like
I can see it working.
That's what it sounds like. That's what we've been told. Who knows what it was like behind the scenes, but it kind of seems like that because, what we got. But at the same time, that's one of the few things that I'm not gonna lie. As much as I like James Gunn to a certain point, and I've even said this on Hold My DualShock stream or whatever. Like some of my favorite movies from James Gunn, even at best, are like an 8 at best. An 8 at best. That's not That's not the best movie I've ever seen. They're good. They're worth watching, and I can recommend them to you. You know what I mean?
The comedy aspect of James Gunn we were talking about earlier, though, is needed in these.
What he's doing now, and what it might be if it's less than an 8 will be. That'll be very disheartening for me. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have no problem admitting that would suck.
Real quick, can we
But-
address a question in the chat about they want our opinion on the Nintendo Switch?
Who?
The chat. Hey, Cyphex, did you see my message? Can you boost Quentin's mic just a little bit?
I'm from
Dude, I don't know how to do that.
So if you go to
What's
the
crazy?
like under our profile picture, there'll be 3 little dots. You can just shift his up if you still say a drop down. He's
Why are you doing that?
distinctly quieter than us.
The Vile Bloods looks awesome, and I'm gonna have to buy a Nintendo.
Edwards removed from thing solo. Do I just click on his name?
If under our profile pictures in the viewing window, you'll see 3 little dots, and when you hit it, it'll say like adjust his audio.
I'm about to get kicked. I can
Better
feel
be-
it.
This is code for getting this motherfucker out of here. Just his audio by shutting him the fuck up.
Mhm. I can smell it. I'm about to get kicked. Huh?
All right, go ahead and talk. I boosted you like 25%.
So they wanted us to address the
Much better.
Nintendo Switch 2.
That better?
Much better.
Okay, cool. I had no idea I could do that. So, obviously, you know what? I'm gonna
Who
highlight
first?
this one because this is
I'll
very.
go. Nobody else wants to talk about it.
what I've been talking about. Cyfax is a professional YouTuber. Smiley, like yes, right. I'm awesome. I'm not, guys. I tell you all the time. I'm just thankful anyone even shows up.
So on the Switch point I guess they're talking about like the price, correct? They want to know about how we feel about the price or just like
So,
In general, maybe the release, and then you can include the pricing and possibly a couple games you saw.
Okay, well, because this was a topic that I was considering talking about. Anybody want to send me a link about it? Like,
well, it's what $449 for the new one.
okay. So what I
$450
know about it is about, let's just say it's about $500 a pop. They're about $500 and $80 for a digital copy and $90 for a non-digital copy, which would be a physical copy. Problem with the physical copy is even if you bought the physical copy, if the internet system is down, you won't even be able to play it. So it's kind of pointless. It's basically a glorified fucking thing you can put on your mantle and be like, I bought this thing. Am I wrong in that?
I don't think because I don't think there's ever been a downloaded Switch game I've ever used that you
cool.
need
Well,
internet connection for.
if all of a sudden that internet thing went off, you wouldn't be able to play it, right?
No, I don't think they're connected like that.
So
PlayStation Network's different
Yeah.
than Nintendo Direct.
Netflix just did that, and they went down for like one day, and they gave me like I think
Most
it was
digital games you can't play
5
on
days
PlayStation
of
because
free
now.
digital.
Yep.
Yeah, so when the PS went down, you couldn't even play the physical copies because if there's like a download needed for that game,
Yep.
it's no longer compatible to the physical copy you had. So therefore, it
Yeah.
shut down even the physical copies.
Yep.
Nintendo better about that because like I've had them begging me to download the update for Arceus for months, and I just don't fucking do it.
Well,
And it's really cool. You still get to play it.
One of my biggest problems that I've always had with Nintendo, and this will continue on until they fucking fix this shit, is like most Nintendo games are intended for multiplayer, right? Like most.
No, I wouldn't say any Zelda game has been.
Okay, fine. What you got? What you got? A Zelda game, and you got fucking.
Pokemon.
You got 4 games. Fine. What are your most common games that everybody buys?
I always buy
Mario Kart,
RPGs.
You buy Mario Kart. You buy
Smash
fucking,
Brothers.
Super Smash Brothers.
RPGs for
Yeah,
MMOs.
Mario
You
games,
buy
like
multiplayer
Odyssey,
games. Like the most
and then Zelda.
bought thing, the most bought thing you buy through there is multiplayer games. So don't get me wrong. Yes, I understand. Yes, there's some good or like single player games through there. I guess. Fine, you bastard for telling me. But let's be honest. Like when people want to buy that, like when I bought a Switch or whatever, it was like I bought a Switch. I bought a Super Smash Brothers. I bought a Super Mario Kart. Whatever the multiplayer game is, Super Mario Party. I bought a bunch of multiplayer games, and you don't get to do that online because their online system is so fucking shit. Their online system is the worst thing you've ever seen, which is insane to me.
I've never played any of those games online. I always play them locally.
Yeah. Because you just play them single player, and
Andy doesn't have any friends. That's why.
Yeah, bro, I'm fucking lonely here. Why do you think I'm talking to you? Side facts.
yeah, it's like, dude, it's 2 a.m. on your time. I'm 4 a.m. on my time. I'm like, what the fuck?
So, can I say about my Nintendo thing real quick?
Yeah,
Go for it.
I am not a Nintendo fan. I'm a PlayStationer, but I am a From Software fan. I love Bloodborne. I love the fact that we have Bloodborne on PlayStation Solo, and everybody says, "I wish I had a PlayStation." Now I'm hating it because I have to spend $450 to get this Vile Bloods or the Dust Bloods game that's coming out that they strategically showed at the end of the Nintendo Direct because they knew everybody was going to be like, "What is that? That looks Night Rain, Bloodborne 2," and it was all everybody was talking about 24 hours later still, more than the whole entire thing. I'm sold $450 now. I got to get the credit card out.
Well, they're looking at increasing the price because
of
the tariffs now.
And then $80.
So they're saying because of the Trump tariffs that they're pulling all the pre-orders because they don't know the price is going to be.
Damn those tariffs that didn't come in until before obviously these things were released or whatever. Like nobody gives a shit. Anybody with I don't know a half a brain cell can realize this doesn't affect literally anything, and if it does for you, which is crazy, none of this should make sense. Like let's just say it affects your physical purchase of something. Most people, even if like I support physical buying, you can buy it online, right?
Well, a lot of people.
Nothing about online should fucking be affected by any of that shit.
Not for the first 6 months.
Nintendo is using this as an excuse,
exactly,
because they got so much vitriol the last couple of days due to the pricing.
Yeah.
So they're using this, and be like, "Oh, it's not our fault; it's Trump's fault."
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
More political garbage. I don't want to hear that as a fan. I want to hear that it's less than $400 and it'll be out in 6 months, accessible day one, not have to wait 6 months after that because bots bought it up. I don't want to hear, well, Trump made it 50% more. I don't care about that.
Yeah, believe it or not, the giant corporation was going to make it $80 anyway. And
nobody's talking about $80 and now going to be the standard for games. I don't want to hear, well, Trump tariffs. No, $80.
Yeah.
60 is enough.
You're right. It's going to be the standard. Like that's what I was.
All this shit was implemented way before this motherfucker came into office.
Was even thinking about.
Like nobody gives a shit, and it's so crazy. Like
stop playing the blame game and just
blows my mind. Where people are like, "Oh no, it's because of just this here in the last 2 months that also, everything is fucked." And it's like, have you not looked back at the last 4 to 5 fucking years? Get the fuck out of here.
It's also massive inflation. Look at the difference in the price of everything. Of course, it was going to go up.
Processors are the number one thing in the world right now. Everybody wants a new processor for the phone, for their laptop, for their computer, their gaming console. So, and their last year's processor isn't good enough for this year's. So, processor in demand. Yep, and the prices just go through the roof.
Hey Andy, I've always wanted to ask you, man. Did you ever get like those T-shirts from the teams that lost the championships in Africa?
Which T-shirts?
So like when the team loses, they still make those shirts and they send them to third world countries.
Oh, yeah, bro. Like I was just
asking because you're South African, yeah.
No, but I used to see a lot of stuff like that. That and Coca-Cola shirts. Like all of the local corner stores have like Coca-Cola signs, and it's like Coca-Cola, like it's like a sponsor of Africa.
You know, there's a guy out there that only wears those shirts. He doesn't wear like the winning team. He only wears the team that lost.
Yeah,
He's got is a niche out there for it. There's somebody out there.
it's pretty smart. Like, you know, it would be funny if there was some correlation with it. Like all of a sudden you'd like find out that there's just a ton of like Cleveland Browns fans in Sierra Leone or some shit.
That's the reason they're doing it, not because they're going to lose.
Yeah, they're just trying to
Thank
expand
God, I
the
finally got
market.
the Chicago Bears up.
Go Bears.
So happy.
All right, guys. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I have no other topics to talk about, and I was surprised it even went on this long. But hey, I'm thankful for anyone who stayed on for the next hour or so, and then join my stream. I'm gonna try to do these a little bit more often. I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to have a little bit more topics and whatever. Like this was obviously just something on the fly. And thank you for my guest, Andy Rockefeller Plaza, and Quentin Edwards, of course, people who are like awesome in the chat. And then hopefully they'll be around whenever they're available. And I will continue to do this a little bit more often.
Hey,
Also,
Cyphex.
I'm going to be yes, I understand. I have a feeling I know what you're going to talk about. I'm going to be promoting a stream that I want to do that will have some help from people like Hold My DualShock, hopefully maybe ABF, and a couple other people. That'll be around my birthday, which will be around May 3rd, if it all works out right, to do a viewing party for Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, the first movie. I want everybody to watch it with all of us. I just need to figure out how to do it, and I want to try to figure it out by then. So if people are interested, I think that'd be awesome. We could all watch it together. That'd be great. It's obviously one of the best movies, if not the best first start to a trilogy movie of all time. We'll go from there, but I'm going to throw it out there, and then we'll go from there. I don't know.
Hey, do you have like a Patreon set up or some shit, Sci-Fi?
I have a... Oh
Dude,
my
you
God.
stole my thunder, Andy. I was trying to get him to bring that up.
Oh, really?
Quentin, bring it up. So I have
Everybody ignore what I just said.
I have a Cash App. So the idea originally was to be like, hey, $250 to do the thing. And as much as I like that, don't get me wrong, I find it crazy that people send me money or people would send anybody money. But I understand the concept. I understand it. Like,
They support you, bro. They're
First,
fans.
guys, Sci-Fax understands the concept of money.
no. It's sending money to something that is a possibility. That's what's blowing my mind. Where like anybody that is like, oh, here's $1 or $2. There's been plenty of people who've sent me, and dude,
And we'll continue to.
it's crazy to me. Dude, by all means, flood me with it. Flood me with your extra money.
You need
But
to
I
put it
will
in
also
your,
go out of my way
in
to.
comments, so like have it up in.
Dude,
the
I am
link.
so bad with this stuff. Do you not understand?
You even put it in your what's your little description for your homepage? And somebody's like, oh, I can go visit your channel and be like, oh, there's a link to it right there. You know, when it says more, or you hit more, it comes down. Boom.
Yeah. You need to set as your default.
Dude,
They'll be in the bottom of every single description, just as is.
Dude, I literally have an idea for a great fucking oh my God. Sorry, I almost don't want to
Yo,
say it.
that idea sounds great, Cyphex.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be
Hey,
great.
if you invite me, I'm there, bro. Hold my DualShock. I had a great time. I appreciate it. Quentin, it was awesome, man. Thanks so much.
Great talking to you, man.
Thanks for bringing me on, man.
Rockefeller, thanks for coming on, man. I'm glad you responded. Andy, of course. Thank
Just
you
glad
for
I didn't
coming
piss off
on.
any of your guests this time. That was nice.
I don't know what you're talking about. But And then, of course, Quentin, dude, you didn't have to mute yourself for so long. You're more than welcome to talk about whatever you want, brother. Like,
Y'all were just in a groove, man. Every time Andy would get finished talking, you rebutted, and then he went off of you. So I was like,
hey, man,
I'll be here for the chat. Talk.
Don't get me wrong. If you hear me and Andy talking behind the scenes, it just sounds like fucking, I don't know, what's it called? Binary code. It's just ones and zeros. Like,
Binary code with hate speech.
yeah. There's a lot of hate in there. It's just like 1100000 faggot 000, and it's weird. Like you're like, wow, how did that get through? It's
But yeah,
fucking
there's a
brutal.
lot of good things coming to Cyfax's channel. So y'all just keep on watching his videos, and if you can, give him a donate.
Mm-hmm.
By all means, yes, please go ahead and do that. I will appreciate it. But at the same time, just like the people who are on the stream right now, most people are welcome on my stream. I'm trying to be a little bit more selective because I have had a couple randos who were like, let's just say a little off-putting or whatever. And I don't want that to happen more consecutively. Well, I'm aiming to possibly get monetized. You know what I mean?
I want the Everclear guy back.
That's kind of actually the person I'm talking about. Like, so I don't want Everclear guy back. And he apparently found me out of literally randomness. If you're here and you're on and you have a decent mic or you're willing to talk or you have an opinion about something and you're willing to talk about it while I'm doing some of this stuff before I get monetized, and even when I get monetized, if you're somebody who's been talking to me for a minute and you want to talk to me, I will happily talk to you. I will happily bring you on. It's no problem. Just, I don't know, have an idea about what you're willing to talk about. Because going forward, and as I get more subscribers and possibly strive towards monetization, I will probably be, I don't know, monitoring that a little bit better. But, you know, get in while you fit in, as you say, with the Rip Reverse type of stuff. If you're a fan of that guy, he's a good person. I met him. He's a good people. And you know what? Whatever. Let's let it ride. Anyways, you guys have a good night. Peace out. Did that end?
No, we're still on. It takes a second.
Well, I hit the end stream thing, but is the end? I have a double end stream thing.
You have to hit the second one.
Wait,